First of all, has everyone been accounted for as far as you know? Because we had heard that some of the passengers were still missing.
Well, we're going through a process, Wolf, where we received the passenger manifest from Amtrak, and we're comparing that to all the folks who we know got off the train, that we treated at hospitals or otherwise accounted for. The challenge here is that we're not exactly sure if everyone who was on that manifest was actually on the train. Just because someone bought a ticket doesn't mean they actually got on the train. Secondly, some of the folks who we may have transported last night did not necessarily check in to say that they are who they are or that they're okay. And so we're trying to resolve that kind of situation, and that's a person-by-person analysis. And so the search and rescue portion with the Philadelphia Fire Department, with police department assistance, continues, while at the same time we check through all the paperwork, all the manifests, all the documents to see if we can account for everyone and actually know who specifically were all the people on that train, number 188, last night.
All right, let's find out, and I'm sure you'll update us once you know. We'll know. Mayor, the train was now traveling, we're told by the NTSB, at what, 106 miles an hour going into that curve. It shouldn't have gone faster than 50 miles an hour. Was this a human error, a mechanical error? What are you hearing?
Well, I don't know that NTSB has made that kind of pronouncement, but what I will say is that clearly it was reckless in terms of the driving by the engineer. There's no way in the world that he should have been going that fast into the curve. I mean, most of the time, the regional rail, I've been on that train a million times coming out of D.C., that's 710, and, you know, maybe you're doing 100 or so on the straightaway, but no way in the world a regional train should be doing 106 on a curve, and one that's rated at 50 miles an hour. So clearly he was reckless and irresponsible in his actions. I don't know what was going on with him. I don't know what was going on in the cab, but there's really no excuse that could be offered, literally, unless he had a heart attack. And I mean, he went to the hospital, we interviewed him, and he was released. So that doesn't appear to be one of the reasons. And so there can be no reasonable, rational explanation for why you're doing 106 on a 50-mile-an-hour rated curve.
Somebody said to me, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I'll run it by you and ask you, Mayor, because I know you're all over this. On top of this, you say 7:10. That's what time this regional Amtrak's supposed to leave Washington Union Station, at 7:10 p.m. But I'm told yesterday from people who were on that train, it was delayed and it left late. And there's some speculation out there, Mayor, that maybe the engineer was trying to make up time. That's why he was going so fast. Have you heard that?
I've heard that same story, but again, I mean, you almost have to be an idiot to even if you're trying to make up time, to be doing 106 on a curve as opposed to maybe on a straightaway. And so, I mean, that is not acceptable under any set of circumstances. I mean, look, let's be reasonable. People know from time to time a train might leave late, a plane might leave late, but you don't do reckless things. You don't endanger passengers by trying to make up time. I'm sure the 7 people who lost their lives that we have confirmed, I'm sure they would not have minded being another 20, 25, 30 minutes late as opposed to dying unnecessarily in a train wreck.
I assume also, Mayor, you've recovered all the bodies from that train wreck. You've gone through all the cars, all of the area around the cars. There are no other bodies out there. Is that right?
I cannot confirm that, Wolf, only because the actual search and rescue process continues. We've widened the area about maybe 45 minutes or so ago now. We sent out another 25 Philadelphia police officers and supervisors in a widened search area to continue to look. We will not rest. We will not stop. We will maintain our focus on trying to get as much information as possible about search and rescue capacity, and until we are firmly convinced that we have searched every possible place, we will not end those efforts.
Mayor, as you know, there's something called positive train control that's supposed to be able to make sure a train does not go 100 miles an hour into a 50-mile-an-hour curve. But in this particular area in Philadelphia, it was not in place. And we've now heard from the NTSB, Robert Sumwalt. He's in charge of this investigation right now. Our own Peter Goals, a former NTSB managing director, Deborah Hersman. They want this. Why isn't this in effect right now in Philadelphia?
Well, I have to be honest with you, Wolf, until earlier today, I'd never heard that term in my life. But, I mean, the issue is, for the moment is, you know, certainly you want to have as many safety devices on a train or a plane or cars or whatever the case may be. I don't know that we're the only place in the entire Amtrak system that doesn't have this particular device. I'm going to leave that for the moment to the folks at Amtrak and NTSB and Federal Railway Administration to sort through that. Obviously, it's something that you want to have, but for today, I'm going to maintain my focus on search and recovery, reunifying people with their loved ones, and making sure that we have found all of the passengers who were on that train. And you know, I will fully engage in the debate from a public policy and politics standpoint about safety equipment and the like on another day. But for today, we're going to respectfully, mourn the loss of life and the injury to all those passengers.
Yeah, I don't know if Philadelphia, this area in Philadelphia, is the only area in the Northeast Corridor that doesn't have what's called this positive train control. And like you, Mayor, I only heard about it for the first time in my life today as well. But obviously, it's something that experts have been looking for. They want it, and one of the problems is it's expensive, and money, as you know, as a mayor of a major city, that's always a problem.
Well, I understand that, but life is priceless, and we need to stay focused as greatly as we can on having these kinds of safety mechanisms. Again, that's a different fight for another day, and dealing with, you know, Congress and budgets and all of those kinds of issues. But I think there can be no dispute today, certainly anywhere, regardless of party, regardless of what your level of government is, these kinds of safety features need to be in place. We cannot afford to lose Americans to these kinds of preventable tragedies.
Mayor, good luck to you. I know you got your hands full. We really appreciate what you're doing. Thanks so much for joining us.